Welcome back to another episode of the Zuriel Show. Now, in episode 16, we're joined by Nadia Marillier. Nadia, introduce yourself to the people, who you are, and simply what you do.
Okay, first of all, thank you, Emmanuel, for having me on your podcast. Really an honor and a pleasure to be present this morning. I'm Nadia, Emmanuel mentioned, Marillier, and I am from South Africa. I am a mom and also a successful businesswoman, as well as a granny of two beautiful granddaughters. I am the brand ambassador of Tranquil and Tenacious Minds, the founder and the CEO. And yeah, that's basically me in a nutshell. But I think just to share with you as well, I'm also a strong by Zumba fitness instructor at the age of 50.
Hmm. Wow, wow, lovely, lovely. So, take me through what inspired you to start Tranquil and Tenacious Minds?
Oh, great stuff. A very, very good question. And I think you should always know your why you started
Yes.
something in life. My why actually was derived from a tragedy that happened to my sister. So my sister passed away about 10 years ago. She died suddenly of a stroke. And
Sorry.
I literally had about 3 days to spend with her, before she bid it farewell. But the message that I got out of the entire process of what she went through, as females, we tend not to take care of our health at times. We tend to overwork, okay, and not focus on our internal being. And what she basically left me with, the nuggets that I took away was, health is so important, first of all. When you sense that anything is wrong in your body, you need to see to it. You need to address it as a female and you need to take accountability for what God has actually given you and take care of the vessel. So prior to her passing away, she always complained about headaches and strokes being, very prominent in our family, especially females. She complained about headaches. She drank tablets and medication, but she never ever went to the doctor. And on a Friday afternoon, I got a call while cooking, and the son said to me she dropped down and he doesn't know what to do. We then rushed her through to the hospital. That was on a Friday. And the Sunday, her last words to me, so she was completely paralyzed already, right? Her last words to me was, learn to speak out. And at that given moment, the message did not land because my emotional state I wasn't in a good space. I was going through a lot of issues in my specific life as well. And her message when she said to me, learn to speak out, didn't resonate with me. But a few months later, after speaking to her daughter actually explained to me, what she meant. She was
Yeah.
a very well-known woman in her specific area. She did a lot of community work, but her own self, she didn't look after herself as a person. She didn't look after her mental health. She didn't look after emotional health. She didn't look after her internal being. And I think this also contributed partly to the stroke. And when I assessed my life, I looked at my mom that died of a stroke. I looked at my sister that was 47 that passed away of a stroke. I looked at my aunt that also died of a stroke. So I had to make a call. And I think that changed my life completely. And I turned it around and I registered my company. Tranquil and Tenacious Mind is exactly what it says. I named the company after my daughters. My eldest daughter's name is Taslim, and the meaning of her name is she's a very tranquil person. And Tenacious is Taskin. She's a very fierce person. She goes for what she wants out of life. And if you combine the two as a female, you can be tranquil internally. You can be centered and calm, but you can also be tenacious and go for what you want at the same time. So it's finding that well balanced life and doing something about it. So yes, the company was basically birthed because of when she said to me, learn to speak out. I assessed my life, I registered the company, and I said, what next? So my what next is basically investing in all females, impacting them, creating human excellence, providing them with the tools that come from various practices of the NLP framework, and just
Yeah.
sharing that with them to empower them to make the right internal decisions first. Because internally, if you're okay with yourself, and internally, if you know what you want, you know the world is a oyster, and it basically gives you everything that your heart desires. So yes, that is basically, it's a very long explanation, but I think it's valid, and it's important that I share that with you guys as well.
Very touching and very inspiring. And I really appreciate you for sharing that and having the
You're well.
courage, additionally, to take that message that a lot of people would not have seen in the process and seen it another way. Thank
Yes.
you for your story. And I'd like to actually dig a little deeper and actually, because you mentioned your journey at the moment is now empowering women. I'd like to know, do you believe everybody has the capacity to be a leader?
Okay. Excellent question. I think this was a question that was asked to me so many years. I think when I started in corporate, one of the things that I firmly believe in with my entire heart is we all have a specific gift. We all are unique in our own way. Okay, God
Yes.
bless us with a certain gift. And through that gift, I believe that you can find leadership, because my leadership style and your leadership style is completely different. But we can all lead with our specific gift, whether that is singing, whether that is art, whether that is music, whether it's teaching. You can lead with that specific gift. I do believe that you are born with that, and it's just for you to enhance it in a certain way. That is my view on it.
Oh, lovely. One thing I hear lots of people saying, as you said, it's natural given, some people learn and own it. My personal opinion on it is I feel people are born with the gift to lead, but your experience in life tends to, your personal experience at the end of the day, tends you to either shy away from it or embrace it as an individual. And I like how you package it nicely and
Yes,
looking at it from both sides. I really,
yes.
really like that. Now,
And I
touching
love,
on, yes,
yeah.
yes,
Sorry, Emmanuel. I love what you said. Life pushes you in different ways for us to make choices. With
yes,
the work that I do is basically assessing that. We assess the environment that you grew up in. Based on the environment, we look at what beliefs and behaviors did you form to actually support you in that environment. And is the beliefs and behaviors that you currently have, contributing to the future you, or is it subtracting from the future you? And it's honestly just stepping into that wonderful greatness that you have and investing in it and allowing people just to shine their unique light through. So with the teachings that we do, it's NLP is basically that it's allowing you to step into your greatness, but powerfully and authentically and owning it.
lovely, lovely. This question actually just popped up in my mind as you were going through, and I'd like to know what has been the common themes that you find when working with your different individuals that approach your tenacious and tranquil minds. What's the most challenging part people, a common theme in which people
Yeah,
are holding themselves back to be this, to unleashing themselves, that is?
yeah,
What's
yeah.
that one common theme that you see within different people?
Oh, very good question. Um, Self-worth,
Mm,
whether you're male or female, and I've been honored enough to have 100% attendance of males the past week on our online program that I ran. And if I
yes.
look at all the questions that I always ask my customers, I don't just give a package. The one question that's prominent is, what do you want? What do you want of a specific session, and what is the outcome that you want to achieve? Most of the delegates and most of the people that I work with, number one is self-worth, number two is limiting beliefs, and number three is fear, the fear of the unknown.
Mm, mm,
Those
mm.
three, it's such a fundamental thing to look into, because you can actually sabotage your entire life and die with your unique gifts by not unleashing that, and tapping into that and seeing what is the real issue that is actually causing you to feel like this. So that is where the work that I do actually taps into that. How do you unleash fear? How do you get rid of fear? How do you get rid of limiting beliefs?
Yes.
How do you get rid of self, not being worthy enough? And it's going back into your timeline and looking at what is actually causing it, and giving you the tools and methodologies and frameworks to empower you to make the right choices going forward.
Wow, lovely. Something that I can personally relate with, the reason why I really love your programs and what you stand for is at a point in my life, I didn't know I could be this vocal person who could be, speaking in front of an audience until I began surrounding myself with the right people. If there was a program that could take me through essentially what you take different individuals through, that would have been a blast. It would have
Yeah.
helped me exponentially. I was
Yes.
fortunate enough to find the right mentor who actually advised me and told me, hey, listen here, you actually have this gift. You can actually be talking to people. You can actually be doing X, Y, Z. Things that were far beyond my reasoning that I didn't even know in the first place. And
Mm.
I like that you really make it clear to your audience that you're more than you actually are. You simply have to have that self belief and stop limiting yourself to who you can actually be. Lovely,
Absolutely.
lovely message. I really love
Thank you.
that.
Thank you.
Really love that. So moving
Thank you.
forward, I really like how you mentioned and have a, let me say, slight focus on self-reflection. So I'd like to get your opinion. What is the importance of self-reflection in our personal lives?
Okay. For me personally, and whenever I speak from my heart.
Yeah,
Okay, and I speak
yes,
from my soul because I believe that that is when you give the most authentic answers. Self reflection is for me looking at who you are through your own eyes and understanding what your core purpose is, understanding what your behaviors are, understanding how you actually impact the world, understand what's the energy that you give off,
mm,
understand your core being as a person. So self reflection is not just external. For me, self reflection is extremely important because it's the internal components that we work with. So, for example, the internal feelings, the internal emotions, the internal little voices that we hear. And once you can master that, you automatically master the external part of you, which is what you actually should stand for. So there's one thing that I also teach in my programs. I speak to alignment to self, right? And alignment to self is basically when your heart and your head and what you give out to the universe is aligned authentically and it's impactful. That is when you have a good self reflection of self.
lovely, lovely message. One thing I've tried to be doing, especially during this pandemic, there's a lot going on, a lot of, let me say, a switch in our lifestyles in the past 4 to 5 months, depending on where you are. Some countries, 6 months. I found it much reflecting on my week or even day by day basis helps me not only keep track of what I'm doing, which is the obvious reason for doing it, but it helps me optimize the things that I should be doing and removing the things that's not really worth my time, something that I never really did in the past.
Yeah.
And I think you really hit the nail in the head with your explanation.
Okay.
So the last and final point, or last and final question that I usually like to ask my guests to serve as advice and inspiration to the younger audience, who are the majority of the people who watch and listen to the podcast, is if you're able to travel back in time or pick up the phone and talk to 20-year-old Nadia, what's one piece of advice that you would give her?
Don't let society dictate what you can and what you can't do.
Mm,
Be true to yourself, understand your power, step into it, own it, and reflect the radiancy that you were sent here to be. I think that's the one thing that I've learned
yeah.
is don't be dictated by society who you should and shouldn't be.
Oh, lovely message. And thank you very much for sharing.
You're welcome.
Now,
You're welcome.
you've been an amazing guest and even an amazing, you done even a better job at even inspiring me through this mini session. I appreciate that very, very
You're
much.
welcome. You're
As
welcome.
we head, yeah, as we head into the last segment, known as the hot seat segment, where I'll ask you 6 questions and you have between 5 to 10 seconds to answer each of them, and you have the option of passing them if you choose, or at your own free will, that is. All right.
Okay.
All right. So the first question is, would you rather give up social media or eat the same dinner for the rest of your life?
Oh, I think eat the same dinner for the rest of my life.
Interesting. Interesting. Question two. Question two is, would you rather listen to music from the 80s or music of today?
Oh, music from the 80s, definitely.
Interesting. Okay. Question three. Would you rather always be 20 minutes late for important events or always be 2 hours early for everything else?
Oh, definitely 2 hours early. That's just the way I
Love it.
operate as well. Yeah, I believe it builds character. Being on time is part of your character. It's who you are.
Wow. Interesting. Question four. Would you rather never age physically or never age mentally?
Never age physically.
Physically,
Never,
never
never
age
age
physically.
physically. Yeah, yeah.
All right. Question number five. Would you rather end hunger or end hatred?
End hunger.
Oh, lovely. Question number six, and the last and final question is, would you rather never be stuck in traffic or never get another cold?
You never get another.
Would you rather never be stuck in traffic or never get another cold? The sickness
Oh,
cold.
flu. Okay.
Yes,
Um,
the flu. Yes.
yeah, never be stuck in traffic. I don't like
Yeah.
being stuck in traffic. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
at
Same
all.
here.
At
All
all.
right. Lovely. Nice. Lovely. Lovely
That was
questions.
a good
Lovely
brain
answers.
teaser, hey?
Yes, yes. I like seeing where my audience lies, both, because it tests,
Yeah,
it goes into morals a bit and just your personal beliefs at the end of the day. It's just something
yeah.
fun to gauge my audience at the end of the day. All right,
Lovely. Well
all right.
done.
So the last and very final question I'd like to know from you is, did you have fun?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it was refreshing. It also just, I think when you speak about yourself and you share your story, it's also just a reflection to look at your journey and how far you've come. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed the engagement with you. Thank you, Emmanuel.
Thank you very much for being an absolute amazing guest. And not only that, I'd like the people to know where they can find you and read more about you and also get in touch with what you do.
Okay. All right. So I am on the social media platforms. You guys can connect with me on my Facebook page, which is Tranquil and Tenacious Minds. I also have a website, which is www.tntminds.org, where I can also be reached through that platform. My email address is tntminds@gmail.com, alternatively info@tntminds.org. And yes, I think that is all my platforms that I operate from.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you very much once for your time. And for the audience, the listeners, if you made it all the way to the end, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and make sure you follow Nadia and read more about her and get in touch with her to unleash your potential. This has been episode 16 of the Zuriel Show. Have a good one. God bless you all. Stay safe. Goodbye.
Thank you, Emmanuel.
Thank you.
Thank you.